Hello, thanks for joining us today. We have a fun painting today, and I may be getting ahead of myself too much here and won't be able to do it. But uh, if you're new here, I am a complete amateur painter. I just picked up the hobby. This is probably about my fourth total painting that I've ever done, and I am just winging it. I haven't taken any lessons. I haven't really watched any videos on it or had any training at all. So I thought it would be fun to just take take some paint, throw it out there, and just see what happens, and completely wing it. So, uh, and also decided to video it and put it on YouTube for some fun reason too. So, uh, if you're looking to paint, you've never done it before, now may be a good time to come and join my journey and learn how to paint with me. So. The painting I want to do today is of the cherry blossoms in Washington D.C. I just love the colors that the cherry blossoms provide with the water, the pinks of the cherry blossoms themselves, and I just think they're beautiful. So we're going to get started. I think the best way to get started is to do the water first. So I'm going to use this blue color kind of as a base, the base layer of my water, and probably go 2/3 of the way up or so, and have that be the water. And then the thought is maybe a little bit of land, and then the Washington Monument kind of framing the whole thing. And it'll be in the background, but definitely be an important piece of the painting here. So doing the water here, just kind of a base layer, then we'll start mixing in colors. I love the colors that water helps bring out. I just think it's so cool. Water being the obvious blue color that it is, often shows a bunch of different colors, and I love to mix in pinks and purples and just like a bunch of different colors to really showcase all the colors that are actually in water. So we'll definitely give that a try and see what happens, and hope it goes well. I'm trying to keep these videos to about 25-30 minutes, just to not bore you guys too much and not focus on making these perfect. When doing them, and in life in general, I definitely try to be a perfectionist and try to do the best I can. So I could probably spend hours trying to make these as perfect as possible, but don't want to make that the point of the video. I just want to do as best as I can in about 30 minutes. And I think working on a smaller surface like these wooden pieces that I'm working on helps out a lot. Helps just throw a picture on a kind of small surface here, which is great. So these are just, they're about 4x4 that I got at the dollar store, and they're pretty cool. I'm very happy with them so far. Using just an acrylic paint that I got on Amazon, and working with this palette knife just to try to add some texture to the painting. So have our wooden base layer, or sorry, have our blue base layer down for our water, and I'm going to start mixing in some other colors to try to make this water just really colorful and really pop here. So I'll probably mix in all these kind of fun colors that we have down here. Just try to give it as much depth as we can. Mix in some purples, some dark blues. If you have been to DC and have been to the cherry blossoms, the Anacostia River, where the cherry blossoms kind of sit on the banks of the Anacostia River, and the tidal area down there, the water is probably a brown color, so don't want to add that into our painting. So we're going to pretend that the water's a nice pretty blue and more Caribbean than it actually is, but we can embellish the water a little bit just for the sake of the art. So this water is actually going really well. I like the way that this is really starting to look. So that's a good start to this painting because I think it's going to be a pretty difficult one for my skill level, because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I'm just again just winging this and hoping for the best, and just trying to create. It's also kind of shaping up to be a nice little escape from going to work every day and looking at screens and coming home and sitting and looking at the phone or watching TV, trying to avoid that as much as possible. So I think this painting is going to help that a lot. And I'd like a purple color. I guess this is probably my purple there. So I want to mix in a little bit of, that's pretty blue. Just straighten this out as it gets stuck to my palette knife. Mix in a little purple in this. Again, these are just some Amazon paints that I bought, some acrylic paint. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. This is definitely taking shape how I was hoping it would, so that's good to see. Add a little bit more pink to the water, although I don't want to add too much because I want the pink to really come from the cherry blossoms rather than the water. Seems to be getting stuck to my palette knife a little bit. Go back to just a little bit of light blue. Maybe a little of this green. Some of this just kind of all mixed together. Get some darker blue in there too, because it's turning a little green on me. But I think overall this looks pretty good. Okay, not sure how that blue got up, but that's okay. All right, let's do a little sky. I have this this really light blue mixed up here, so I'm gonna try to get this going as a sky. And that's a perfect color there. I like that. I like that color a lot. Just using a little bit bigger palette knife than the small one that I was using for the water, just to spread it a little bit better as kind of a base layer here. So just want to make sure I get the top part covered and make this a sky, and then we'll let the cherry blossoms really steal the show. Okay, I think that works for a base layer. And then I might add, I guess I don't have a white, I'll just add a white here that I can use. I seem to be going through a lot of white too, so I bought this bigger container of white. Just try to add a few little like cloud looking things up here too. Not sure if I'm gonna like it, but I figure why not try. We can always get rid of them if we don't like them. That one looks better. Hopefully they don't clash with the Washington Monument too much. Okay. Okay, I like that. Next, I think I want to add a little land here. The Washington Monument obviously sits on land, so I want to make it look like there's land, and then the monument's coming up from the land. So up here, I have a little darker, some darker colors up here. So I'm going to use this guy, and this makes me a little nervous, but just try to put a little land in between. This area in real life has some nice sidewalks, so it's a nice area to walk, and the cherry blossoms really frame that area out, so it's cool to see too. Okay, guess that works. Don't love this part. Let's pull back some blue there. Cool. Okay. I think that looks like land. All right, I might add a few little drops of pink down here because there are some cherry blossoms on this side, so I want to highlight that. Don't really love that. Make this a little bit smaller. I don't think I like it. That is one nice thing about this acrylic paint, is if you don't like it, you can kind of just scoop it up and go over top of it, I've found. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but it seems like it's working okay. So yeah, we'll kind of stick with a little more narrow area here. And then let's get some blue to cover up that kind of mess up there where I didn't really like it. Hopefully we'll be good to go. Oh, some brown up there. It's one difficult area that I found is just where two colors merge, trying not to get one color bleeding, especially the darker color like this bleeding into the lighter color. Seems to be a little bit of a challenge for me. Okay, I think I like this better than the thicker one that I had before. This seems to look a little bit more realistic so far. Then we'll throw some trees on top of it. There are some beautiful trees down there that are not cherry trees too, or sorry, cherry blossoms, just some regular trees too. Let's take some of this and just maybe build up some tree-looking shrubbery. Take some cherry blossom too. Just trying to show the deviation from the kind of like ground barrier, like where it becomes land from the sea to some tree shrubbery and some small cherry blossoms over there. That we'll get to in 1 second. Okay, let's throw some cherry blossoms on these guys too, because there are cherry blossoms that kind of work all their way around here. Don't really like how low that got. Okay. Might be a little too big. Mix in some lighter, some more brown to just make those cherry trees a little less poppin'. Sure, poppin's a correct formal art term, so good to be getting the terminology down. All right, I like these. I think that looks pretty good. All right, let's go for the Washington Monument next. I think I'm gonna start with this kind of gray color. We'll see if it's enough contrast between the blue sky. I'm hoping it is, I'm not sure though. I'm just gonna use the side of the knife to make it kind of pop up here. Okay, it looks like that's enough contrast, but I don't have enough paint on here. Looks a little crooked. Going up in the Washington Monument provides some really cool views. It's pretty neat. Out one window you can see the Jefferson Memorial, the White House, the Capitol Building, and the Lincoln Memorial there. So there's a lot to see out of it, and it's really cool and worth a trip up there. We'll add a little top there because it comes to a point. That turned out a lot better than I expected. I kind of want to add a little darker to the one of the sides, but fun fact about the Washington Monument too is it's actually made of 2 different stones, and you can see a line about right here where I think they had to fund a war. I forget which war. They had to fund a war and ran out of money, so they stopped it here for a number of years. And when they finally had enough money, they rebuilt it and finished it. But you can see a line in between it in 2 different colors on the top and the bottom. Pretty neat to see. All right, let's do the cherry blossoms next. So a lot of people take these awesome pictures of cherry blossoms like down here and like kind of frame the monument in the water through the cherry blossoms. So on the lower half here, I'm going to do cherry blossoms and maybe up the side a little bit, but we'll see how the kind of how the lower ones look. So I'm going to mix a little bit more brown in here. Take just a little bit of black. One thing I've learned is a little bit of black goes a really long way. So we'll use just a little bit of black there and a good amount of brown, and I'm going to mix this up to help do our branches of our cherry blossom trees. I've been trying to mix a paint before I start, just so you don't have to watch me do this. And I've learned that I've used too much paint. I have too many buckets, so you can see this. I pretty much have a full thing of cups. Here I also have a full thing of cups, but I'm sure there's a much better way to do this. But I also don't want to spend the time to mix kind of as I'm painting. Want to really focus on the painting rather than the mixing aspect of it. So I'm just gonna build kind of a branch here using the side of the knife to kind of build these branches up. And then these branches are gonna have some cherry blossoms on them. I believe the cherry blossoms were a gift from Japan at some point. I'm not quite sure of the full backstory, but I believe they came from Japan. And the cherry blossoms in DC are actually smaller than they are in Japan, because since they are planted on the tidal basin here, the roots can't grow and quite as deep as they should. So they're a little bit smaller than full-size cherry blossoms. Just a fun fact. Actually, we'll hold off there and just see how some of these cherry blossoms start taking shape down here now that we have these branches. So in the first video that I did some flowers, which I thought turned out pretty well. But I think I made the flowers a little bit too big, so I'm just going to keep that in mind as I build out these blossoms. I don't want to make the flowers gigantic, even though this is kind of the point of this picture here. So maybe I will for the cherry blossoms, since they are so pretty and it's so much color. I do like how these branches look. I think those look pretty good with kind of the cherry blossoms coming out from them. So I'll add a few more guys here to make it look like this is one tree, and just throwing off more branches and more leaves than what we can really see. Do the same for this guy down here too. Put that there. Maybe one more right there. Gotta say, this one is looking pretty good. Really like the way this is taking shape. So I'm gonna do one more up here. I don't really love those clouds anyway, so I think it'll be good to get one in here. A lot of people do take pictures like this of the cherry blossoms kind of framing and being a part of the picture like this. So I like that. I like this a lot. And I was just thinking, before I did this, I should have read up more on the cherry blossom history, so I had a little bit better facts than me just spitballing as I do this. So don't fact check everything I said. Some of it may be made up, but I think most of it's true. You know what they say, 78% of facts are true, and 22% are made up on the spot. So with that, I'd say about 77 of these are maybe true. The rest are made up as I go. Just have to say things with a little bit of confidence, and people believe you sometimes. Don't really love that those are separate, but we'll see how these take shape too. Trying to do these as fast as I can, but don't want to throw too much paint on there without having some purpose. So taking a little bit slow as I keep having a dip. These look like cherry blossoms, right? Either way, it looks pretty with the pink on the water. Get these guys up here too. See, doing a decent job staying at my my 30-minute goal. Trying to keep everything under 30 minutes to not bore you guys too much and finish these up. But just want to keep these make these look like flowers rather than like just like a full line there. So probably using a little bit more paint here on these top ones. Something fun down at the tidal basin too. You can take little boats out here on the water and just really take it in down by the Jefferson Memorial. So very pretty there. Okay, I think that looks great. I think maybe one more right there, and we'll call it a day. Just to not go too crazy, but want to capture as much pink in there as we can. All right. I think that's it for this one. Yeah, very, very happy with the way this one turned out. If I have to rate it, I'd say for my skill level, I'd say 8 out of 10. I think this one looks really great. Everything worked out pretty well, and considering I'm brand new at this, I think this is a really good one. I like it a lot. Love the colors of the water, all the pink. Just a pretty picture. So very happy with this one. Thanks for joining me.